this week's edition of Rapid Motion Dirtworks, we head off to the Polokwane region of South Africa for some off-road action. The Limpopo 400 makes up round 3 of the Off-Road Motorcycle Championship, and all of this action is brought to you by Husqvarna, ORD, HRP, Honda Wing Santon, and the Roost Racing. A large amount of competitors have once again joined us here in Polokwane for some really exciting stuff, and a brand new circuit that's been launched here for this weekend in the Limpopo 400. The usual contenders are here in full force, and ORD, Honda, Ramco, Suzuki are going to be looking to take on these boys. They've dominated all of the rounds so far. That's the Red Bull KTM team. Husqvarna also have a huge contingent of riders, as do Kawasaki, running under Sadiba Russell Campbell. And of course, we've also got the likes of the Roost Racing. Daryl Curtis currently leads the championship ahead of Spencer Creel and the find of the season, Theo Portkitani Suzuki. We caught up with Daryl just before the event.
Riding at 250 today, and it's really fast out there, so I'm hoping that it's going to be not going to be a lot of fast straights, but more winding, sweeping type stuff, and it's going to be very dusty. So of course time trial is always very important. Try to get in front and stay there. It's always nice riding in at a new venue. You've got new terrain and nobody's been there. We've got our Garmin GPSs, so we shouldn't get lost, and yeah, it's a challenge for everybody. We're all in the same boat.
From the small H to the big H, Husqvarna to Honda, Carl LaRue changing his steed for this event.
A lot of changes happening. I'm in a new team now. I'm with the old Honda racing team. Yeah, it's going, at the moment it's going very good. New experience for me.
The third round of the event, you've had it tough so far this season. The previous event's not really suiting you. This is more sort of your terrain.
It is, we've never raced here before, so we've heard it's quite fast and like a sandy. So yeah, hopefully it goes well and it suits me better than in the first 2 rounds.
The Ord Hondas all run on Pro Wheel racing rims, oversized stainless steel spokes for extra strength, and each of them have fitted with spider grips. They've got ARC, which is acoustic rebound technology to minimize the vibration in your hands, which is going to help out especially on the longer stuff. And all of them running with DRD performance pipes, made in the United States of America by Doug Duback, a multiple motocross champion, so he knows all about off-road machinery, magnesium end pipes on that, and of course cycloplastics to make the bike look absolutely awesome. 125 kilometers of time trial action about to get underway, and the first man off is Grey Dick on Schimmel's Yamaha. Joining me in the commentary booth this time out for the Limpopo 400, the man called Mr. Roosh. Ron, tell us a little bit about your team and what the plans are for this event.
Yeah, the team's strong this year, as it's been in the last 5 years. Yeah, we're dominating the 250 class with Gavin Lowe leading the championship points, hoping to have a good run here at Limpopo.
Well, we hope to see a lot of your boys out in front of the field. At the moment, it's all about Grey Dick on this 120k loop. And of course, this is the thing that's going to determine where they're going to start tomorrow for the main action of the Limpopo 400. Some nice riding area here, once again being found by the organisers in amongst these thorn trees. And I'm sure we're going to see the boys out with thorn protectors on a little bit later once they realise that we're in the Limpopo Polokwane region, and things here can be really big if it comes to the thorny type. Looking out through the field as well, 42 coming through there. That is Marcus Taljaard on the KTM. 17, Line X Yamaha's Veynon Kleinhans. How important is it, Ron, to get the positions as far up as possible, considering that we're in a dusty area?
It's very considerable to get a good speed trial. You don't want to start anything later than 10th, 15th overall. The guys on the bikes haven't ridden here many years. We raced the car there last year, and the track does change favourably more for the quads. Yes, you must get a good speed trial.
At this point in time, the 200cc leader is Marcus Taljaard aboard his KTM. He's going to come in just for a quick change of goggles and some refueling. 120k's on these motorcycles, they definitely have to come in for a refuel. There you can see some protective wear on the sleeves there for the thorns. Not a lot of guys have opted for that option at the moment, but I'm sure we're going to see them change as they get out into the thorns once again. Back out onto race action, Lurie Yamaha rider here, pushing very hard. Yaku for Mark, getting it a bit sideways as well. Tyre choice going to be important here, Ron?
Yeah, like I said to you, the guys haven't raced here before, so they don't know what terrain they're in for. It looks like mostly grassy and shaly, so you've got to get a good intermediate tyre. There's a lot of good brands out there, especially the Dunlops. Very good tyre, and you want something that lasts as well.
As you see Matthew Dean coming through here, he's aboard the Ord Racing. That's the Linex Yamaha side of that Ord Racing team. Ron, you've also decided to go with two different manufacturers in your team. What's the reason for that?
We've been KTM for the last 8 years now, and last year we took on Kawasaki. It's a very good brand, very good motorcycle, and obviously taking on some top riders on the Kawasaki's. KMSA, Chris Spate has been really great to us, offering us some motorcycles to our riders, as KTM also Butcher is giving us some real good deals and some bikes for the team members.
So basically it's just a deal that you can get Carl Poppleton refueling his motorcycle here aboard his KTM. He's riding the factory team, that's the AGA Mechatrade KTM team. And he's going to be followed very, very closely there by one of the ECS boys. Didn't quite get the number on that rider. Here comes Daryl. Daryl coming in for a quick refuel as well.
Well, on the racing stage now, there was a split, and we were supposed to turn right, and we went straight, and eventually I ran out of fuel, and then someone gave me fuel, and then I came back on the sand road, back to the DSP, and now I'm going to do the section home, but I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think it was well marked.
I don't know if it's too much of the marking. I think it might have been a big error on your behalf there, Mr. Curtis. What do you think, Ron?
Yeah, look, I think Daryl must go for lessons at Grey on how to use a GPS, or maybe just put some batteries in it.
Yeah, that's a good bit of advice there. Right, some of the riders coming in here thick and fast. Marcus Tolliard has been a man to watch out for today on the 200 KTM. You can see that his kickstand had come down there, but Barry Creel was the man to beat, 37 seconds ahead of Boyle van Rooyen aboard his Kawasaki. Callington Enslin there on the Beta in third. Spencer Creel up there as well on his KTM, and Theo Potgieter, the first of the Suzuki boys.
Well, yeah, I did. I haven't got any points because I haven't finished the first two races, so I didn't have an option of going with the seated riders, and I didn't really want to go just ride around in the dust with the other guys. So we decided to go later, and it seems to have paid off. Strategy today, starting front, hoping not to get lost.
Well, hopefully I started in front of Swaziland. I put so much pressure on myself, and I went and got lost. So today, if I can ride like I rode yesterday, I was very comfortable. I didn't take any chances. I was very smooth, and I was quicker than the other guys. So let's hope that I can keep that up today.
One man that'll be looking to close you down as quickly as possible is the Kawasaki rider, Boyle van Rooyen, who decided to go out later than the rest of the riders.
Okay, we just looked at the conditions and the word in the pit that there's a lot of dust out there, so we tried to get a gap, where the quads weren't that many. Try to work it out, and it seemed to have worked out. Didn't get too many quads in front of us. Yeah, so it seemed to work.
Strategy today, there could be more dust out there.
Just keep going. I mean, it's fast and it's going to be a long ride. So basically, just keep a good pace going and try not to make any mistakes and see where you end up.
A man looking for some good results here this weekend. Former champion Clayton Enslin.
The strategy was to go late. I should have maybe left a little bit later. The time trial would have been actually perfect. We caught a few guys right at about 50 k's from the end. So a little bit short, but other than that, it was maybe a good decision. But today was going to be a big factor, dust, that type of thing. So that's going to be a long day. So we'll see how it goes.
Man, getting him underway there is the AGA Mechatrade KTM rider, Barry Creel on his tail, Boyle van Rooyen, Sadiba, Russell Campbell, Kawasaki, and then Clayton Enslin. Ron, they're starting the day here. What is going to be the strategy and how they're going to put this into practice for the day?
Yeah, the guys are luckily riding the route they rode yesterday. I think they'll just keep a steady pace, try and keep each other so they can see each other, and then just keep themselves fresh and the bikes in one piece.
Important factor is that they have run this course already, so they're going to know the route a little bit and they'll get to know some of the areas, so they'll be going a little bit quicker than what they did the day before. Nice bit of riding here from the Natural Freight Beta rider there. That's Clayton Enslin pushing very hard to try and catch the Kawasaki and KTM ahead of him. There comes Spencer on his tail. You can actually see the picking up the dust just in the background there as the rest of the field start to stream through here. Got a couple of guys that are out there for the first time also, and new teams also forming. But what are the reasons for running with different manufacturers in your team, Ron?
We've been with KTM for nearly 8 years now, and they've been very good to us, butchers, giving us a couple of motorcycles for riders. And obviously it's very costly to keep a team going, and Chris Spate from KMSA was good enough, and we joined the leagues with them with the Kawasaki side, also selling the brands, and Chris giving us a couple of motorcycles for our riders.
And we managed to pick up on one of your riders going through there, Hilton Smith on number 16 there. What's the reason for changing the kit? The checkered flag was so easy to pick up.
Yeah, look, you've got to change. You've got to change every year, with the new sponsors. Obviously, like I said to you, the racing's so expensive, and any sponsors are welcome. So you've got to, obviously look after your sponsors, branding your shirts and your vans and your motorcycles.
But what's the reason for not sticking with that checkered flags? But I want to know, because it was such a brand that you'd built up already and so easy to pick up for commentators like myself, and of course when we've got Daryl and other commentators in here, very easy to pick up for most of the riders. But of course we will get used to the brand new kit, and I'm not knocking the kit, it's really nice stuff. Riders coming through here thick and fast though, and you can see that this little area is turning out to be a very high speed area and a very high speed section for these riders. Oh, nearly going down there, not quite sure, didn't get the number there, but up front, all problems here by the looks of things. No, he's managed to find it. That's of course our leader, 161, Barry Creel, fortunately picking up on that marker. Looks like it's Clayton Enslin who's moved up in a second place ahead of Bolly van Rooyen. And here comes Bolly now aboard the Sediba Russell Campbell Kawasaki. So problems there for Van Rooyen. I'm not quite sure where he's gone and missing. And we got Spencer on his tail. And the AGA boys dominating up front, 2 out of the top 5. 52 is Wade Blau. He's on the Sally's Yamaha. And right on his tail is the first of the Gas riders, Wayne Farmer. He'll be enjoying this kind of area. We know from previous events, Daryl always likes to say he likes the open stuff, because that's where he's born and raised, and that's where he gets to ride his motorcycles as quickly as possible. Hilton Smith, your top man so far, Ron, looking good, eh?
Yeah, Hilton's really on the gas. He's been riding again since last year. He's really coming up nicely. Yeah, he's just taking it easy, and I think next year he'll really be right up there, you know.
Gav Lowe also looking pretty hot at this point in time aboard his Kawasaki. But back in the pits, looks like some changes here for the KTM team. A compulsory 15-minute decontrol. Ron, what are the riders going to be doing? What are your pit crew going to be doing at this time?
Yeah, mostly the guys will be taking a lot of water, refilling their packs and having something to eat. And obviously the mechanic getting the bikes ready. There's a lot of dust out there. As you can see, Butch is looking at the air filter, and he will be changing it.
So a lot of dust, and getting into that air filter is going to affect the quality of the ride, I'm sure. As we see Gavin Lowe, leader of the 250s, coming in here. Little quick change. Let's find out from Gav how it went.
It's going great. The further you catch up with the guys, the harder it's to pass them, because they're riding basically an equal pace to you. So all I'm going to do now, I'm just going to keep it steady. I got Wayne and Talia just ahead of me. I'm going to pass them, hopefully, and I got a nice gap in between them two, so maybe I can make up time on whoever's behind the leaders.
Hilton Smith coming in here as well. Ron, what was your strategy for Hilt as he came in on the KTM?
Hilton was cool. We just topped up his bike, put a new air filter in and got him all. Luckily, the 15 minutes I think is very compulsory. Should be like that at all races, where the guys can get fixed up and the bike's fixed up, and it, you know, on a safety factor.
I suppose it's one of the major problems that they have out there, is that they get fatigued really quickly, and a chance to refuel themselves is also key in these kind of events. Let's find out from Marcus Talia, 200cc rider, how his day's been.
Excellent day, the track's awesome. A lot of dust though, but I'm just trying to keep my pace, not crashing stuff, and just make it safe. Oh man.
Are you going to chase these boys down in the front? There's 6 guys in front of you?
I'll try to catch the first 2 guys in front of me, but as I'm not really worried about the overall result. I'm just in the 200 class, so I'm leading it, so I'm just happy. I'm just going to stay like that.
Tight stuff in the 125 class as well. Malcolm McCann right on the tail of Wynand Delport.
The bike's going well. I feel strong. There's still a long way to go, but anything can happen. Chasing for the front, in second 125 right now. Hopefully I'm going to catch it.
In the open class, Grey Dick having some problems, starting in 59th position due to the mistake that him and Daryl Curtis made the day before. Let's find out how he got to 18th spot today.
Yeah, no, it's been dusty. There's been a hell of a lot of dust, and I've just been trying to go around the guys quite safely, and I've had some nearly big ones there, but I think I've passed quite a few guys. We only have 30 into the race now, so there's still a lot of catching up to do. Hoping to get a top 15, top 10 place.
And your mate Daryl decided, no, this is too much of a hill to climb.
Yeah, no, Daryl's starting at the back. You know, he's become a girl this year, and I don't know, nothing anyone can do about it. You know, hopefully the next race he finishes.
Looking good on the Suzuki so far for Ramco Suzuki, and leading the seniors class, Sean Kirk. Let's find out how his day's been.
Yeah, it's a very fast race. Quite a lot of dust at the moment, but it seems to be fairly safe. I haven't had any incidents, no falls at this stage, so I just want to keep it safe until the balance of the race.
Well, 30 seconds behind you and closing fast, Dudley Smith on board the Husqvarna. He's going to be a tough man to try and catch. The man in front on that Ramco Suzuki, Sean Kirk. Big battle going to be starting out between those two boys for this next section. But back out on the circuit and out in front and looking to capitalize on his pole position and take the first win of this season. He's been on pole position every single time. In fact, 8 times in a row and has not been able to capitalize as young Barry Creel. Hopefully he can do it today. But with Clayton Ensign closing down on him at the pace and the rate of knots that he is at the moment, he's not going to be an easy day for him. Russell Campbell, Sadiba Kawasaki there of Bully van Rooyen, also a top contender. And any problems with those two front bikes, it would be nice to see the green machine on top of the podium. Next man up is going to be young Spencer Creel, having some fun and games. This is a big loop here, Ron, in the middle of a river section. Very enduro style, almost trial style, in fact. And that's going to give the riders a lot less dust than what we've seen in previous events.
Yes, definitely a lot safer for the riders, not having any dust. And, 100% visibility.
Wade Blau aboard Sally's Yamaha here. What's going to be the choice of steed here for you, Ron? What would you suggest you guys go out on for this type of event? Because we can see that the 125s are not up as high as they have been in the previous ones.
It's obviously a lot faster race, and you can see most of the experienced riders up front. But I definitely think it's a personal preference for what bike, 2-stroke or 4-stroke, depending on what the rider feels, what he feels more comfortable on.
Of course, no change there for Gavin Lowe. He's going to be sticking to that 250 considering he's leading the championship for your team. Right on his tail though, Marcus Talliard aboard his 200. Not an easy little section this, but although the riders I think are going to be happy that there's no dust, it's a very, very tricky section. Almost enduro feel here, as I said a bit earlier. But let's see if these boys can get through here pretty simply. Looks like they're doing a good job of it so far. 65 is Kobus Jonk. He's on the Ord Honda. Ord Racing also supporting 2 manufacturers. The Honda side running under Ord Racing, and of course the Yamaha side under Linex. And we can see some of the quad boys on the side here getting into the thick of it. This is one of the quad loops as well, so hopefully we're not going to get any interference a bit later on for the motorcycles and the quads interlinking a little bit here. Number 20 going through there, pushing very hard, and looks like he's having a little bit of a battle. Young Vane on Delport there aboard his Yamaha. 44 Arrow Racing is Jean Vilken. No thorns around here, but of course keeping that thorn protection on for the other sections of this loop. Here we see one of the 254 strokes. Now Ron, let the general public know, what is the classes and what kind of motorcycles can you ride? If you're riding a 125, is it a 2-stroke or is it a 4-stroke? What can we do?
In the 125 class, mainly it's 125 2-strokes running only in that class. In the 200 class, they've let the 254 strokes run in the 200 class just to enlarge the competitors. Because mainly KTM dominated that class. Now having the Kawasaki's and the Yamahas able to run in there, which makes a nice class definite, to get some more riders involved in the 200 class.
And then the 250 class?
The 250 class basically is just 250 2-strokes.
And then your open class, you can run anything over and above that?
Your open class, anything above 250cc.
Oh, that's really good to know. Well, at least now you're a general public member and you've enjoyed the coverage so far. Now at least you know the kind of machinery that these boys are riding. This is Grey Dick. He's in the open class, so I'm sure he's going to be on a 254 stroke, if I'm not mistaken. That's his choice of steed, and he's running in the open class on that. Veinan Kleinans riding for the Linex division of the Ord Racing team. 242, right on his tail though, and pushing hard is Tyron Skitter, or a Husqvarna. Husqvarna putting some money behind this show, so big up to them and well done for getting involved. And of course you've also put in some money towards this. Have you been happy with the coverage? And the television coverage certainly has become a lot better for the Off-Road and National Enduro Championships.
Definite, the coverage is excellent. The more coverage for the sport, the better.
Of course, it opens up doors for guys to go overseas and enjoy the thrills and spills of all the effort that they put in here for South Africa too. And also gives the sponsors a lot of coverage countrywide, internationally as well. Good to see these boys getting through this little section. Pretty simply though, the Ramco boys on their Suzukis, looking so far so good for them. Out of the river section we're going to be heading very, very shortly, and 27 is the ECS KTM team. That's Michael Spencer aboard that motorcycle. Here's the leader of the senior so far, Sean Kirk. He rides for Ramco Suzuki, making it look pretty simple through this muddy section. 87 right on his tail, Guy Henley, or Russell Campbell, Sadiba Kawasaki, riding in the open class. Riders are going to start feeling the fatigue, I'm sure, by this stage, as they get through this river section, and being such a long section and very technical, As we pick up on Dudley Smith coming through here, second of our senior riders. He's now closed that gap down on Sean Quirk quite dramatically. A couple of seconds in it there. What's the strategy when you get in here as we see one of your riders coming through there, Ron?
Yeah, definitely you want to save the bike and yourself. You don't want to fall over on a rock and damage your bike, crush your pipe, and obviously, you don't want to get hurt.
Coming into the checkpoint now, leader of the day and has not been bettered yet. Aboard the AGA Mecha Trade KTM team there. That's Barry Krill ahead of second place man, the man in picture at the moment, Clayton Enslin, aboard his Beta. Oh, here's a big change in the events. Look at that, Spencer Krill up to third place. I wonder what's happened with Bully. Oh, he's dropped down to about fifth place because here comes Wade Blau on his Sally's Yamaha. So problems right at the end with 1 lap to go after this refuel for Bully van Rooyen. And managing to come in fifth place overall. He's got a bit of work to do on this final lap. Out front though, no problems with this man. All day out in front. Led from the time trial, and he's had Clayton Enslin on the Beta, closing him down all day. Has Clayton got anything in the bag for this final lap to try and catch that KTM ahead of him of Barry Creel? Spence will be looking to close down on the Beta and protect his brother's lead. Hopefully they can work together as the team and keep that Beta at bay. This is also a very technical section here through a little bit of a quarry. Wade Blau making it look easy on board his Yamaha. Nice riding so far from these first 4 riders. Let's see if Bolly's made up a little bit of ground on Blau. Not quite sure what happened with him there. Looks like he's actually battling to pick up the markers by the looks of things, but the course seemed to be pretty well marked, right?
Yeah, the riders were quite happy, my riders, with the course marking. With one refuel, what exceeded 60 kilometers, and I know Gavin, my rider, ran out of petrol on the Kawasaki. That put him back at least 30 places.
So the 250 is a little bit of a gas guzzler, is what you say. Well, of course, it goes like a rocket, and that's what you want. And nice riding so far from Gavin Lowe. And he's going to have to make up for that ground and lost ground, unfortunately. But I'm sure we're going to see him up there at the end of the day. Coming through there, that's Wayne Farmer on the gas. And he looks like he's on the gas as well. A little bit further down, this is Carl Poppleton, lying second in the 200cc class, having to make up for lost ground on day 1 due to some contaminated fuel, I believe. That's a big pity, unfortunately, for him. He's normally right up there, but Marcus Talliard has been the man to beat in the 200 class, also on an orange machine. But Poppleton looking to catch him and get to him as quickly as possible. 20, the next man along, that's Van Delfort. He's leading the 125s. Looks like he's got ahead of Matthew Dean at this point. Yes, indeed. So Matthew Dean falling into some problems of his own.
Yes, Matthew Dean having quite a bad crash and breaking his leg.
Yeah, unfortunately, that'll put Dean out in a big way, and it might put him out for the rest of the season. We wish him all the very best, and hopefully he can get recovered from that as we see Grey Dick aboard his Schimmel's Yamaha, moving up to 5th place in the open class. And right on his tail is 18 Carl Rue on the Ord Honda, also in the open class. He's sitting in about 6th place at the moment. Here comes a very, very quick man on 13. That's Craig Stone, ECS Alfie Cox KTM. Sitting currently in 3rd place in the 200 class. Finding different routes and making some of the locals have to take some evasive action there really quickly. He's had a great season, has young Craig Stone, and we look forward to some more. All problems here, though, for Eric Else, the PJ Paving racing boy, looking for some paving maybe possibly in that little bit of water. Been stuck here for about 10 minutes. Hopefully he can get that motorcycle out of that water gap. Oh, not a good thing to do to stall your bike in water. Nick started, click it in at first, and when in doubt, flat out. Well, not as easy as it looks, folks, as you can see. Manages to get out of the way, and let's see how it's supposed to be done. Yes, that's exactly how it's supposed to be done. Nicely done there. Weinan Kleinhans. Linex Yamaha, Ord Racing. So, Mr. Else, we hope you picked up on the line there, and that's the way to go through. Nevertheless, you're having fun out there, and that's the most important thing. 97, we've picked up on him a little bit earlier as well. He's also had a great day. That's Jonathan van Wyk, privately entered rider there, and enjoying himself in the 200 class. One of the Ramco boys, that's Lawrence Merton. Haven't seen much of him today. He's normally a little bit further up the field than where he is at this point in time. But with only 1 lap to go, it's now down to the wire. 242, Tyron Skitter on the Husky. There's a nice motorcycle to be riding around this machine. Bit of a handful though. Looks like he's a bit of a handful here for Michael McCann. He's dropped down to 3rd place in the 125s. So some problems for the Ramco boy. Looks like he might have had a tumble. That handguard has come loose. Possibly just dropping the motorcycle at some point. Oh, and where are we going at this point in time? Slip sliding away, number 85, Lender Toy. Getting a little bit slippery out there. A couple of riders coming through. Just keep to the line that the other riders have been on. Not always an easy thing to do though, especially when you see the cameraman sneaking up behind an anthill. Well, looks like Jaco Vermaak was able to spot our cameraman pretty easily. Nice ride from him so far. Here comes one of your boys. Hilton having a good day.
Yeah, Hilton just taking it easy. He had some also a bit of problems with his petrol with a bit of water in it, and just going for a nice finish.
Preparation, Mr. Roost, preparation. What's going on there? No, your boys have had a fantastic day, and it's always good to see you getting involved, not only in sponsoring the motorcycles, getting the boys and supporting them on the day, but also giving us great support here on Rapid Motion Dirtworks. 125 rider 104. That is Andrew Perry on the Yamaha. Coming to the checkered flag, and what a great day for this man. Eventually taking a win for the season. His first one for this season, and a first win in a long, long time for Barry Creel.
Yeah, well, the 7th pole and my first win from pole. I've always just had bad luck, but today my KTM was awesome. I had a really good ride. I rode within myself. I didn't put any pressure on myself. I just went as quickly but safely, and yeah, it looks like I got about 8 minutes at the end, so I'm ecstatic. It was an awesome ride.
Well, actually only 5.5 minutes, but we'll give you that because you had a good day there. Well done, Barry. Second place going to go to the Natro Freight and Indy Oil Peter team. Clayton Enslin on board that one. He's had a great ride, winning the open class as well. But I think there may have been some problems out on the circuit. Let's find out from Clayton what happened.
Started off this morning, started off third. Made a bit of work getting past the Kawasaki ride, Borley van Rooyen. So I got by, and it was okay. I basically wanted to chase the last section home. But I ended up getting wide in the back wheel, and I lost a lot of time, and oh well, next one. But the guys rode good, Barry rode well, and hey, my bike's running really, really well too, so I couldn't complain. My day was really, really great.
Making it 1-3 for KTM and 1-3 for the Creel brothers. Well done to Spencer. Mr. Consistency by the looks of things this year.
Yeah, with Daryl being out this morning, but I really just had to finish to take over the lead of the championship. But now the pressure's on, I think it's pretty hard to stay at the top. So we're going to have to get home and get in the gym and do some training, and we see what happens at the next one. Just take it a race at a time. Can't think about the championship because you ride too carefully then. So I've got to take it a race at a time and go from there.
Riding too carefully. I've never heard that from an off-road rider. Barry Creel, though, well done to him. Clayton Enslin there in second place, and Spencer in third. Wade Blau managed to finish up in fourth, just ahead of Borley van Rooyen. Further down the field, though, we pick up on some of the riders. Carl Poppleton having a good day and recovering nicely. Wynand Delport just behind him. And a little bit further down there, Lawrence Merton, first of the Suzukis there, ahead of Malcolm McCann on his 125 in 20th. A great day's riding for these three boys, and I'm sure they're going to be looking forward to round number 4 of the Off-Road Motorcycle Championship. Sean Kirk picking up the win just ahead of Dudley Smith, Suzuki over Husky.
We're wishing Craig McCleary a speedy recovery in the senior class.
Yes, I knew it would be tight. I knew Dudley was coming. I started flagging a little bit at the end, so I just kept it rolling and hoped that I would get in first. It was very tight. So yeah, well done to Dudley. Great race.
Dudley, did you know you were catching him?
Yeah, I had a good feeling because the bike was going well. I was getting into a rhythm, but I couldn't see a yellow jersey. I kept trying, but I just couldn't see it. So I thought, well, I'll just keep pushing till the end, and hopefully, we'll get it on time. But 3 seconds, still a win.
Still a win in anybody's books there, and of course, big thanks to all of our sponsors for this great action from the Limpopo 400. Honda Wing Santon, Roos Racing, Husqvarna, HRP, and Ord Racing.